Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Effed Up Stories. I am your host, Will Pender.
And I am your co-host, Ryan Sharp.
And tonight we got an awesome podcast for you guys. We have a special guest with us. Her name is Kelli Coffee. She has her own show on YouTube called Kelli and the Raw TV. She's going to be taking us on her own little journey into the real life matrix, you know, how the world works, the multiverses, the omniverse, the people who are and basically writing the story that we live in. And she's going to be taking us there and telling us how we can change it, how we can alter the currents of fate. So before we get into the episode, I do have some news to share with you. I actually had to come back and splice this in because some of this actually happened over the last 2 to 3 weeks, and this is why there's been a delay. We actually recorded this episode a little over 2 weeks ago. So first of all, we have for the first time ever signed on to a YouTube network, and we have signed on with Broadband TV, which is the largest YouTube network that there is. So we're hoping that with their tools, we will be able to reach more people and, you know, get more stories for you guys and just have more to give to you guys. That's part one. Part two, and this is the biggest part of my news. This is the whole reason for the delay. You may remember from the last episode that we did, or one of the last ones, I think the reptilian one, and I announced that I released an album and that I dedicated it to my soon-to-be-born son, Isaac, which I expected to come in September. Well, he's come early, 3 weeks actually. So instead of September, he came on August 16th, and I have been spending the last 2 weeks getting to know him, learning my new role as a father, and I just love him to pieces, and I wanted to give you guys a look at just how adorable he is. And since I released the album dedicated to him, I actually wrote him a song as well. So here's a little clip of that song and a look at my adorable little son, Isaac Pender. Won't you come down from the heavens, let your soul enter your body, we will love you, we will cherish you, won't you come down? So I hope you enjoyed that. The song is called Isaac's Ladder from my album Bad Wiring, and you can get it on iTunes or Amazon MP3 or any of those kinds of sites. But you can also just stream it for free right here on YouTube on the Effed Up Stories channel. It's called Will Pender Bad Wiring. You could just search it in the YouTube thing or just look through our videos. Just, you know, honestly, all I care is that people listen to it and get enjoyment out of it. I didn't do this for money, so if you want to stream the thing for free, do it to your heart's content. Do it right here on the channel. I'm more than happy. If you get any enjoyment out of it at all, I'm happy with that. And if you do enjoy it, you can also thank my son Isaac, because without him, I never would have gone through he was the catalyst that got me to do it. Okay, and with that said, I'd like to welcome Kelli to our show.
Thank you. How are you? How are you?
I am great. And Kelli, so we spoke a little bit last Friday, and it was very interesting what you had to say. I just would like, before we start, if you could give our audience some background about yourself and the things that you do.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know, I lived absolutely wonderful life. And I've done a lot of things in my lifetime, career-wise. So when I, ventured in my 30s, I was doing television, lots of fun things like that. And after that, when I saw that you had to do some very unscrupulous things to get on, continue on television in a big way, the talk shows they were wanting me to do and all that. So I was not going to bend my morals. I'm trying to make this clean for all audiences. I was not going to bend my morals and follow down that path. So it looks like my career was basically over because I wouldn't do, some of the things that they wanted me to do. And someone said, "Hey, Kelli, you can be on YouTube." And you can actually make money on YouTube and whatever you want. Advertisers don't tell you what to do. I'm like, "Oh, that's fantastic." So I started on YouTube with my channel, not knowing what I was going to do. I actually cut hair. I don't have my license to cut hair or anything. I owned a salon, and I learned from my employees how to do it. So my first video was how to cut your hair at home. How to do it yourself, very, very simple. And so I did that video, got 100,000 views overnight. I was like, "Oh, I guess they like cutting hair. That's fabulous." So I had my friends over. Anyway, about 6 months later, I was having fun, tons of views. And in the process, I had my wisdom teeth removed. And when I did, won't go through the long, lengthy story of what happened, but after about 10 days, and a huge amount of pain, and after not eating for several days, I had some complications, and I think I just ran out of calories is what happened. I just didn't have enough calories to keep breathing. So with my husband there beside me, he had just walked in. I was holding on. It's really interesting how living, you have to actually do something and be active in doing it. Dying is so easy. Dying is just, you just let go. It simply is that easy just to let go, to die. So I waited for my husband. I had to struggle to breathe. That automatic breathing you have that keeps you breathing at night when you're not thinking about it, that shut off. And it was not working, so I had to actively breathe. My husband got home, and it was like, okay, now I can let go. I just thought that it'll be okay now. So I said, come in. I didn't want him to say a word. I said, "Don't say anything. Come here. Hold my hand." And so I just breathed out, and I didn't breathe back in. It was not a problem. That part had just already shut down. I'd felt my body kind of systematically shutting down at that time. So I popped out of my body, and I was looking at above me, I guess you would call it a tunnel. Some people would, a tube. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, an opening. And when you look in it, it was very similar to, I don't think they have it anymore, so the younger generation might not know what I'm talking about, but snow on television when a channel or a station would finally go off the air. So that's what it reminded me of, technology. Here, just kind of hold on to that thought for a minute.
Okay.
So I popped out of my body. I heard my husband say, "Kelli, breathe. Kelli, breathe. Kelli, breathe." He was getting more and more panicked because I wasn't taking a breath in. When I popped out of my body, I just started floating upward. And I was just, you could tell you're just pure energy. And you have the same, if I didn't think about it, but I could have said, "Oh yeah, I'm Kelli. I've got my same personality." It's just like my level of awareness, right now, and everything that is going on like here on this planet just shifted into another dimension. So I'm still, you still think the same way. You're still this, well, not person. I don't know how to describe that. You're still the same when you pop out of your body. So there was to the right of this tunnel entrance, you saw I saw a blue being. I've interviewed on my talk show. I have my own talk show now. Don't have to sleep with anybody to get that. On my own talk show, I interviewed a nurse who was there when over 100 people had died. And this person has the ability to see into other dimensions and see what's there. And he talked about how every one of them saw a blue light being right before they just came right out of their body. They started to see it. And that's what happened to me. I started to see him right before I came out of my body. It was almost like, you want to say, a tractor beam. Something had a hold of all of the cells of or all of the energy of my body at that point. It was just pure energy. And it was pulling it towards, gently, but it was pulling it towards the opening. And the whole time, this blue light being with it looked like white painted on eyes, like a Disney character, a female Disney character, but you could tell it was male. Its voice was perfection. I've never heard a more perfect male voice than this. Say, "Come this way. This is the way to go. Come to me. come this way, come over here, and he wouldn't stop. It's like a recording that just continues to play over and over and over. There's no stopping, and he was motioning like Vanna White, come into the light. No,
so did you even have a choice, or you were just on rails, like you had to go that way anyway?
Well, I was being pulled. So in that, when you first come out, and this is what I warn everybody, first of all, if you are just waking up, because that's what dying feels like, is, oh, I'm waking up. Just like here in 3D, you first wake up, you're easily confused. You don't know what's going on. Sometimes you don't know what day it is when you wake up, or for travelers, they don't know where they are. So when you first wake up, and then you get a little groggy, then you get a cup of coffee. Oh, okay, now I know what day it is. Let's get everybody ready for school, and let's go on. Then about an hour, you can actually do a math problem in about an hour after you wake up. Maybe not immediately after you wake up. So this is a similar process to when you die, in that when you first wake up, you don't know what's going on. Where am I? What's going on? I'm being pulled toward a tunnel. Oh, look at all those shiny things. There's the what I call crystal cities, very fancy underwater seaweed-looking entities. Just anything you could even imagine in other worlds, you're seeing that's like right there. You're like, holy crap, that was there the whole time. It's just in another dimension. I was just the whole time I'm continuing to be pulled up there, and the blue guy is come this way. This is the way to go. And my husband, he faded, like he was gone. And it didn't take very long for me to not even remember that I had a husband. I didn't even remember having a house, children, friends, nothing. All of my existence on the planet suddenly was gone, as if it was the most insignificant thing ever. And that's when you realize, and it's more than this, it's so difficult to put into words, but that's when you realize, oh my gosh, I was just playing a video game with it all. It was just something that I had done for a period of time, for the sake of learning or amusing myself or whatever you happen to be doing there. Then
so you're saying that
woke up, I'm sorry.
You're saying that when you pass on after the first hour or so that you're in the other world, this reality kind of evaporates like a dream does in the morning.
Correct. Now, the time frame as far as an hour goes, that's 3D time. There's no such thing as time or space outside of here. So it's difficult to equate time on planet Earth to what I'm talking about. But if I had to guess and just kind of make something up to tell you, to have some kind of perspective of how it felt, although there was no time, I could tell you how it felt. Like if I had to say it as far as time goes, it was a matter of probably 1 to 2 minutes that it took for me to get. I don't think it was, but my husband said it was about 2 minutes, so that I wasn't breathing. So about 1 or 2 minutes for me to get from the couch where I was laying down to the middle of my living room where this tunnel was. So that's how slow it was pulling me, and he was talking the whole time.
So was this tunnel going straight up, or was it going like out or into the ground?
It's pointed towards you. So it's like you're looking in the end of a straw.
Okay.
And you're looking towards it, but you can see that there's depth to it. You can see that it opens up into an opening that you can go through. If you want to call it a wormhole. When I've looked at movies, I think they call them wormholes that they travel down, or those connections between the suns that you travel in. I show people where those are on a daily basis, these things. So that's kind of what it looks like. But anyway, I was so distracted by all these shiny things that I wasn't paying attention to the blue guy, and he just kept persisting. But in this state where you are compared to being in the body, there's no pain. It's this tunnel, the light. The light was as bright as 1,000 suns. But it didn't hurt your eyes because it's not the kind of light that we're used to in 3D. That's damaging. This is a different kind of light. The light of, I guess some people would call it the light of God. The God, that thing that is everything or is in all of us. that wonderful, wonderful light. And the light, this is the interesting part, the light was love. I don't know how to better explain. It didn't emit love, it didn't give love, it didn't send love, it was love. Absolutely amazing. So you're bathing in the warmth of this thing. You don't feel warm, but that's the best 3D word I can describe of how it feels. That unconditional love that feels like warm. I can't describe it any better than that. So you're feeling that. Bliss might be a good word for it. There's absolutely nothing negative or bad that you're feeling at all. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. It's absolutely amazing. So I was almost to the entrance of the tunnel, and suddenly the blue guy changed what he said. He was saying the same 3 or 4 things over and over and over again. And then when I was almost there, he said, motioning into the tunnel, "It's your time to go." And when he said that, something triggered inside of me. And I said, "No. It's not." It kind of woke me up. Okay, it woke me up a little bit. Oh, no, it's not my time to go. I have to go back.
So it started to sink in that, I was distracted by shiny things. I need to do something now. I can't go in there. I mean, I knew with all my heart I couldn't go in there. Something was wrong. It didn't matter what it was. There was just this knowledge that I can't do this. And so when I said no, because you're not fully awake yet, when I said no, the first thought in my head was, am I going to have to punch this guy? What am I going to have to struggle? What am I going to have to fight? What am I going to have to do so that I don't get sucked in this tunnel? I was, thinking in 3D, I guess that's how it is. And just from me saying, no, it's not my time to go. I have to go back. Just simply by stating my intention, I started to go backwards and go back towards my body. At that point, there was no fight, no resistance, nothing. I was just automatically allowed to do whatever it was I chose to do. So I went back. I started to hear my husband again. At that point, he was highly panicked. "Kelli, brace!" He's yelling. I'm in my living room again. I come back into my body, and it was like, bam, like a freight train hit me. I felt like I had 1,000 pounds. I mean, I forgot how heavy these bodies are, and the pain, because I had pain. I'd had pain for 10 days, and I still had it for 6 weeks. I didn't come back to anything wonderful, that's for sure. And so I came back, and then I was in my body, sitting there going, oh my gosh, my husband's yelling. I feel so awful. I was feeling that way before I died, but when you come back from not feeling like that, oh, it hurts. Oh, the contrast.
So bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, from bliss to bam. So I looked down. I didn't look with my physical eyes, not that kind of looking. It was from my level of awareness, or from that level. I looked down at my chest, and I went, wait, it's not going up and down. It's not breathing. I'm not breathing. Okay, what do I do? Oh, golly, if I breathe, I'm going to have to make myself breathe. Okay, here we go. So I took in a breath. I just thought about it and go, okay, let's take in a breath. My husband stopped yelling. And then I came back. All of a sudden, my body picked up breathing normally. Like everything, everything was, not fine, but because I had gone about 5 or 6 days without eating at that point because of the pain and all of it. So immediately I just said, Chuck, go get a pen and paper. So he went and got it. Oh, he's shaking at that point, but he went and got a pen and paper. And I said, I need you to go to the store, and these are the items I need for you to get. And this is what I'm going to need to get better. And I gave him a big list of things to get nutritionally. And I'm like, where's this stuff coming from? So he got a list of stuff. And I said, go to the store. He's like, I don't want to leave you. I said, I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry. I'm back. I'm going to be fine. So he went to the store, got it, and I quickly got better. And after that, with all of the things that he went to get to bring to me. So I was still on Vicodin or hydrocodone, whatever it was, and for pain for another, 4 weeks or so, in tremendous amount of pain. So I was a little distracted, then I started, we're getting better. Now let's get off the pain medication. So when I was clear at about 6 weeks from the pain medication and clear thinking, I went, something weird happened when I was doing all of this.
So you didn't tell him right away. You waited and...
Yeah, I was distracted by this pain. I can't tell you. I died. The pain was so awful. I died. It was the worst thing I've ever felt. So, 6 weeks later, I started looking up tunnel. I came out of my body. What happened to me? I have no idea. And all of a sudden, it was like near-death experience. I'm like, oh. And so I started reading what happened to other people, and it was like, oh, my gosh, I died. Holy crap, I died. This is crazy. So, and then when I came back and I was, off of my pain medications, I realized, because I had psychic abilities before, it was like, holy crap, everything's easy now.
So everything was heightened.
Psychic I have access to.
So it was all intensified? Like, would you say you came back and it was like everything was just amplified in your psychic ability, your sixth sense, what you want to call it? It must have been significant because that's like a big part of what you do now. Like, you want to teach everybody this.
Absolutely. So what actually happened, instead of things being heightened or boosted or what people think might be happening, when you are psychic, I hate the word psychic, I really do. What it is actually is just a higher level of awareness. You're able to bring yourself out of your body onto a certain level, and you're able to access information and stuff and all of that up there at this other level. People call it psychic and weird, whatever. So what happens when you come out of your body is not with you meditating and trying to do this, but you're out of your body. Poof, there it is. And it was more real. It was 10 million times more real than what we're doing on this planet.
See, I've heard that before. I've heard, like, when people have near-death experiences, they say that when they go on the other side, that feels way more real than real life, and real life is like a dream.
Yeah, real life is a dream. And then you start to understand the concept of what's going on with us when you realize that we're in a dream. And that feels really, really real.
So are we like a matrix? Is that what this is? Is this like a giant video game that we're plugged into?
On that, and this is a journey that I take my clients on the ultimate goal is to access all of this information, energy, all of it, channel it and use it for healing. But I found that along the way, we see lots of awesome stuff along the way. I teach people how to remote view in 30 seconds. Just this last week, I worked with someone who's been working with the government for 15 years, being a remote viewer for the military. And they came to me because they needed to do a better job. They've been doing it for 15 years. They needed to do a better job in remote viewing, and he also needed to know how to access the future with remote viewing. So I taught him how to access the future with remote viewing and taught him how to remote view the easy way. He told me how they teach them how to remote view. I'm like, you're kidding me. No wonder it took 15 years to get this good with you. So I taught him how to do it, and boom, instead of a little flash of something or a picture of something, he was seeing moving video. Basically, when he was remote viewing instead of just one single photograph.
So is this something that you can teach just over an audio podcast? Can you actually bring us? Okay.
It's easier when it's one-on-one because you have feedback when they're like, ooh, I'm stuck and this is the problem, and then we can overcome that and move forward. So, understanding it's not going to work for everybody. And one-on-one, it's been 100%. But with an audience, if they get stuck in one little thing, I can't help them with that. So, and understanding that, yes, you can do this. So when I take them on this journey, and this gives you kind of an idea of what's really going on, you get outside of this universe. I'd have them come outside of the universe. They look at the side of our universe and see what it looks like, see it's moving, and that every time you change distances, it looks completely different. Not like here in planet Earth, you're looking at a house, you go a half a block, it looks like the same house, only smaller. Another block, it looks like the same house, only smaller. And that's what we're used to in 3D. When you get out there, you look at something, it's black with sparkles, and then you get a little bit farther away from it and look. Now it's pink and purple and blue and swirling, and it's It's incredible
Wow.
how things work. So you go, I take them outside of the universe, and then they look
is
at
it?
all the
Are you
universes.
saying that when you're outside of the universe looking at it, is it fractal as you're moving closer and further away? Is it just this infinite amount of complexity, regardless of the distance?
And like using the term fractal, I'm really careful to try not to use vocabulary words, and I try to paint a picture. So I think I'm about to describe what you're asking. If I don't describe it, please ask it another way, but I think this is going to describe what you're talking about. When you get, and you start to see all the other universes, and they're all different shapes and sizes and colors. I have the person find their own universe, that they created, and they're the source of their universe. They find it, and they're like, holy crap, there's my universe. And then when you get farther away from it, we're traveling backwards, like in the back of a station wagon, where the kids have to turn backwards and watch where we've been going. So we're traveling backwards. The farther away you get, suddenly all of these universes turn into bubbles. They're oddly shaped, and they're very random. As you continue to go a distance, they turn into bubbles that are about the same shape and same size. And then they all are the same color. They change colors, but they change colors together. And then you see things like, lining up. They start to spiral, circle. Then they start to line up in rows and columns. And then you continue on, and then there's this huge, I'll call it a bubble, a huge bubble that appears around all the other ones. Those bubbles were universes. Now, this bubble you're looking at, the huge one with all the universes in it, is called the multiverse. You travel a little more, you see the other multiverses that are also bubbles, and they do something very, very similar to that in ending up lining up in rows and columns and forming geometric shapes and doing all kinds of things, getting very elaborate. And then all of a sudden there's this other huge bubble around that. That's the omniverse. The omniverse is the big bubble that holds all the multiverses in it. It's really that simple. And then you get outside of that. Now you're in the cell. If you want to call it that, like the cell of this huge entity that we're in the middle of. And this cell, to me, looks not exactly, but it reminds me of an eyeball. How an eyeball is a sphere, but it's got kind of a little weird thing on the side. But I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So we go across the cell to different destinations where I stop at to show the clients, okay, this is something I found. I don't tell them all the information because I want them to go back and find it out for themselves and discover it themselves, because too much people listen to others. They try to do their methods, and it overcomplicates things, and they can't do it. So I teach people to go in not knowing what you're doing and figure it out yourself. That's how you truly learn. Anybody who's dyslexic, which most of us are, we think in pictures, that's how we learn. At this point, we're almost to the edge. There's this craft. It looks quite small from the outside. You get inside, it seems to go on into eternity. This craft, there are lots of alien-type beings on it. I mean, think of what level we're on now. We're way beyond our universe. And you're like, but I got kidnapped. I got kidnapped by one of those aliens. Okay, these aliens didn't kidnap you out here. Something that looks like them that was either cloned or copied or whatever on our level. That's what we're dealing with. And part of the agenda is to get us scared of aliens so that, oh my gosh, I don't want to go out there, because when you go out there, you find out what's really going on. And yes, the aliens in the ship are in control over you. They have invented you, these bodies. They put these planets in place. They put these nebulas, everything in place. They put the multiverses in place, the omniverse, everything. They have done all of this, and they're managing it.
So they're not from the same reality that we're from. They're the architects.
But here's the cool news. Everybody's like, holy crap, aliens. Oh, my gosh. Okay, this is the cool part, so everybody doesn't freak out, is on this level, you were like, I'm just trying to paint a picture here, don't take it literally, but you as an energy being, whatever we are, is this big, you're kind of floating along, you're bored because you're tired of bliss all the time, and you look over there and go, hey guys, what are you doing? Hey, we're building this awesome video game. It's going to be way cool. We're going to have an omniverse and multiverses and all this stuff. You want to join in? Oh my gosh, yes I do. So this is kind of how that happened. Now, remember when I was talking about the rows and the columns of bubbles?
Yes.
This gives you an idea of how this hologram works, is that the farther away you get from what is being created by this hologram, you see it simply as a bubble, just no details. It's just a bubble. When you get closer to the bubble, and let's say you stick your head in the bubble, now you got your head stuck in the bubble, and you look in there and go, oh, there's a universe inside of this bubble. And you get closer and closer, there's lots of other bubbles. Some people call them planets. I don't know. And every planet has something in it. This is like an amusement park ride, where in 3D, we get on the roller coaster, and it goes around and around and around and comes back. To get on this ride for the video game that we're on, they put you in a pod. Now, remember, this is all voluntary by you, and you wanted to have some fun. So they put you in a pod, and in this pod, or bubble, let's call it a bubble, you sit in the middle, and it's holographic, and around you, they create everything in this reality. It feels very, very real. Now, since you're stacked in rows and columns, there are other entities, I don't know what you call them on this level, there's other entities like you that are above you, below you, to the side. So you're all connected in this technology, if you want to call it that. And with this connection, you're able to interact with other people in their pods. So your husband or your wife, you have not really touched them. You're sitting in the pod, and they're way over there in another pod. But this experience makes you think that you've hugged and kissed and done all that wonderful stuff, and that they were actually there. So this is an amusement ride we're on.
Multiverses, the omniverse, the people who are basically writing the story that we live in. And she's going to be taking us there and telling us how we can change it, how we can alter the currents of fate. So before we get into the episode, I do have some news to share with you. I actually had to come back and splice this in because some of this actually happened over the last 2 to 3 weeks, and this is why there's been a delay. We actually recorded this episode a little over 2 weeks ago. So first of all, we have for the first time ever signed on to a YouTube network, and we have signed on with Broadband TV, which is the largest YouTube network that there is. So we're hoping that with their tools, we will be able to reach more people and, get more stories for you guys and just have more to give to you guys. That's part one. Part two, and this is the biggest part of my news. This is the whole reason for the delay. You may remember from the last episode that we did, or one of the last ones, I think the reptilian one, and I announced that I released an album and that I dedicated it to my soon-to-be-born son, Isaac, which I expected to come in September. Well, he's come early, 3 weeks actually, so instead of September, he came on August 16th, and I have been spending the last 2 weeks getting to know him, learning my new role as a father, and I just love him to pieces, and I want to give you guys a look at just how adorable he is. And since I released the album dedicated to him, I actually wrote him a song as well. So here's a little clip of that song and a look at my adorable little son, Isaac Pender. Won't you come down from the heavens, let your soul enter your body. We will love you, we will cherish you. Won't you come down? We've toiled so very long. So I hope you enjoyed that. The song is called Isaac's Ladder from my album Bad Wiring, and you can get it on iTunes or Amazon MP3 or any of those kinds of sites. But you can also just stream it for free right here on YouTube on the Effed Up Stories channel. It's called Will Pender Bad Wiring. You could just search it in the YouTube thing or just look through our videos. Just, honestly, all I care is that people listen to it and get enjoyment out of it. I didn't do this for money, so if you want to stream the thing for free, do it to your heart's content. Do it right here on the channel. I'm more than happy. If you get any enjoyment out of it at all, I'm happy with that. And if you do enjoy it, you can also thank my son Isaac, because without him, I never would have gone through he was the catalyst that got me to do it. Okay, and with that said, I'd like to welcome Kelli to our show.
Thank you. How are you? How are you?
I am great. And Kelli, so we spoke a little bit last Friday, and it was very interesting what you had to say. I just would like, before we start, if you could give our audience some background about yourself and the things that you do.
Oh, wonderful. I lived a absolutely wonderful life. And I've done a lot of things in my lifetime, career-wise. So when I, ventured in my 30s, I was doing television, lots of fun things like that. And after that, when I saw that you had to do some very unscrupulous things to get on, continue on television in a big way, the talk shows they were wanting me to do and all that. So I was not going to bend my morals. I'm trying to, make this clean for all audiences. I was not going to bend my morals and follow down that path. So it looks like my career was basically over because I wouldn't do, some of the things that they wanted me to do.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Effed Up Stories. I am your host, Will Pender.
And I am your co-host, Ryan Sharp.
And tonight we got an awesome podcast for you guys. We have a special guest with us. Her name is Kelli Coffee. She has her own show on YouTube called Kelli and the Raw TV. She's going to be taking us on her own little journey into the real life matrix, how the world works to